Divine Rise, blessed be to your day. May it be everything you require to create everything that you desire. I am Papa Lucifer, Papa Lucy, your occult psychologist, your psychoanalyst, your shaman, your healer. And today we're going to talk about investing into this change. And I had something that I thought about when I thought about goals. When we think about our goals, how we set our goals, why we set our goals, and sometimes the very stream of thought that is connected to your goal, your plan of attack, how you want to move forward, can be the exact obstacle in your way. Remember, it's all about honor. Remember, the last couple of weeks we've been getting into honoring your thought. Are you allowing your thoughts to become identities or urges? You're like trying to get your thought off based on an urge, or are you learning to honor your thought in the highest aspect of yourself? This is a moment for a goal check. How many times, how often do you assess your goals? How often do you assess the catalyst to why you have that goal? The best question is it a goal that you're trying to reach, or is it an obstacle you're trying to avoid? Why did you set that goal? Why did you put it into motion? What's your plan of attack? What's your call to action? These are the things that I think about when I think about assessing my goals, assessing where I'm at, assessing where I came from, all in the aspects of me becoming the best version of me. The more that I learn, I realize that it's only after I apply it that my conversations change. It's only after I've applied what resonates with me does my conversation change. So if my conversations are changing, my environment is changing, me as a vessel is changing, that means my goals to change as well. This is one thing that we tend to forget. That goal, the goal itself. What did that goal mean at that point in time when I first set it? Is that goal based on a predestination? How am I planning what plan am I using to foster the energy for that goal? What am I really set? Is it really a goal? Is it really something that I can plan for? Or am I trying to be stuck in hope? I remember a lot of times for myself, I would set a plan, I would set a goal for myself, but I wouldn't fully plan it. My plan would be emotional. It would be an emotional plan. It would be an emotional trap a lot of times. It'd be based on something that I'm avoiding. So my plan would be based around avoidance. So my plan was avoidance. Or for some of us, our plan is based on neglect. Remember, as you're coming through your healing process, you're going to go from in the acknowledging the neglect, acknowledging the wound, to you're coming into the acceptance. Through this accepting aspect, when we accept that we have been wounded, a lot of times this is where we stop with our goal or our plan of attack. This is where we're going to stop at. And then we start doing things based on avoidance. Now we're actually conscious that we're going to be doing things based on avoidance. We're neglecting something inside of ourselves. All to maintain that same space to keep that same goal based on the old view, the old perception. As you change, as you evolve, your conversations change. So that means my train of thoughts are going to change to my conversation, because my breath work is going to change. How I breathe is different. My clarity is different. How I see things is different. So now that I'm seeing things differently, it's time for me to go back and assess my goals. Every time that you come to this point, it's time for you. Always take that moment of assessment for yourself. Always step back and be like, you know what? Let me go look at this in the way that I used to want it to be, or how I used to think it should be. And now that I have these new parts, now that I have these new examples, this new information, how can I apply it to that space? Remember, your space is your opportunity. If my space doesn't match my opportunities, I have to assess my space. If my space doesn't match my opportunities, then I have to assess my space. If my space doesn't match my opportunities, maybe it's time for me to assess my space. A lot of times this is where we seem to teeter and not want to, do I really want to? But I've known this forever, or this used to work before. The things that worked in your comfort are not going to work at this new level. That relationship that you're going for is outside of your comfort zone. Remember, I told you everything goes back to your shadow work. It's outside of your comfort zone. That abundance that you're trying to tap into is outside of your comfort zone. That winning that you're trying to tap into is outside of your comfort zone. You have to assess your space. Because remember, you bringing down this energy with yourself, you invoking this energy is going to be evoked into the things that are around you. So the very same thing, this is what happens when you doing your manifestation, you go into your space, I want to make the million, I want to do this, I want to lose this much weight, I want to do this, and I want to do this. The first things that's going to come up are the things that you have to assess. What in your environment matches where you're trying to go? A lot of times for myself, I was like, this don't match that don't match where I'm trying to go. That doesn't match, my old goals don't match my new view. So it's time for me to create new goals. It's time for me to step out of attachment and step into connection. Connection is allowing the flow to happen naturally. Attachment is shutting yourself down, mimicking, avoiding, using those wounds. When we're stuck in that space of attachment with ourselves and we try to make a goal, it's usually based on, because I don't want to be broke no more. I don't want to be alone. I don't want to be broke no more. I don't want to be alone. It's always based on something when we stuck in that attachment. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to go through that anymore. I don't want to go through this anymore. I don't want this to happen. But in reality, okay, cool. You don't want it to happen, but what plan of attack are you taking to deal with it? What plan of attack are you really building within it? As you're assessing yourself, what plan of attack are you taking in your new view? You have new views. How are you growing in those new views? You have a new mindset. How are you grooming that new mindset? How does your environment, how does your space give you the opportunity to challenge that very thought process? Remember, the knowledge is that fertilizer. It made me think about, you ever thought about manure, cow shit, whatever they use to put down around things to make them grow? It's because shit makes you grow. The shit that you've been through makes you grow. If it didn't stink, you would stay there. Really think about it. If it didn't stink, you would stay there. If it didn't have that stink if it didn't have that stink of the emotional wound, you would stay right there every single time. This happens a lot of times for us when we're inside of a space. We get so used to being in that space that we ignore the smell. We ignore our senses that are telling us that's no longer for us. We ignore our vision. We ignore our smell. We ignore our taster changing. We ignore these things to stay within the aspects of the space. And then we try to bring that. It's like, imagine it like this. A lot of us don't understand that door I always talk about that door. That door is biometrically set for you. The door that you are going through for all of your opportunity, all of your abundance, your prosperity, your growth, your healing, the change in your tax bracket, it's biometrically sound and set to you. You can't bring everything through that door. It's like imagine a dog coming through the doggy door bringing a bird in the house, or a cat going outside bringing a squirrel in the house. That's the equivalent to what you're trying to do. Every time that you have this opportunity to grow, to really assess yourself, to set that new goal, to set that new waypoint, you're trying to bring those old things with you. They can't come. They're not meant for this level. Because if they were meant for this level, they'll be right there. You got to be willing to let go. This is the true aspects of letting go. A lot of times we don't truly desire the growth because we got used to saying to ourselves, but I did all of this work. I did all of this work back in 2004. I did all of this work back in 2008. I did all of this work 3 weeks ago. I did all of this work. None of that work matters if you did not learn from it. None of the work that you're doing matters if you're not learning how to apply to the next level. Your mindset got to be there before you even get there. Your emotions got to be there before you even get there. This is how you're transitioning into your new space. Your mind got to be there before you even get there. How many times have you heard, if you've never heard it, one of my mentors always said to me was like, before you get to that space, you mentally got to be already prepared for that space. That means my mindset got to be there. That means there can't be any gaps that I cannot assess, that I'm not willing to assess within that space. If I'm going into a space, I want to be as clear-minded as possible, as empty as possible, so I can now be fulfilled within that space. A lot of times we come into these spaces with ourselves and we have the new empty space, whether it be i.e. The relationship, whether it i.e. be a friendship, whether i.e. it be a job. And the first thing that we'll say to ourselves, and it comes out like this, for your job, it's like, well, yeah, I did this at my other job. This ain't your other job. But yeah, I did this. Yeah, I've done this. I've been in plenty of relationships. This ain't your other relationships. Everything you bring into that space is what you're going to have to deal with. That's going to be your goal. That's your goal's already set. That's why I say don't worry about the goal. Don't worry about the result. It's already set. And it's going to adjust itself as you adjust to your path. Your goal is going to adjust to your path. Your results are going to adjust to your path. Stop trying to adjust the path, adjust the goal, adjust the result. Set that predetermination in your mind. And then you sitting there like, oh, I'm gonna set this predetermined goal I want in my life. This is how I want it to look. Stop concentrating on that. Because you're gonna start shutting yourself down and cutting stuff away and skipping steps. There are no more skipping steps. You can. Don't get me wrong. You can skip the shadow work. Go ahead. You're just going to have to deal with it when you come back. You're going to have to deal with it there. It's just going to be deeper, darker shadows. They're going to take on another face. You can't avoid the work. You can't neglect the work. You'll tell yourself every single time that, yo, I'm tired of being neglected. I'm tired of being hurt. I'm tired of being avoided. I'm tired of feeling anxious. I'm tired of being tired. But what are you doing to set the tone based on that? You're tired. What are you doing? How you start your day? How do you end your day? How do you start and how do you end your day? You feel like something's being neglected or you're missing something? Look at your space. What are you neglecting within your space? You feel like you're being avoided? What are you avoiding within your space? That's your plan of attack. You always have the answer. You just need to set your plan of attack. Set that accountability for yourself. Set that that accountability for you. Ain't no one gonna be more accountable for you than you. No one's gonna be more push you harder than you push yourself. Nobody. No one's gonna push you harder than you push yourself. No one's going to. You neglecting yourself and you're not showing it. When you think about it like this. If I'm sitting in a space and I'm neglecting showing my emotions, or I'm neglecting learning how to cultivate my emotions, so I don't show that I'm angry, I don't show that I'm upset, I don't show the feeling that's on my face, I don't show it or I don't express it. Whose fault is it if nobody looks at me and asks me what's wrong? Whose fault is it? It's not their fault. They can't see that I'm going through some things. If I'm sitting and I'm hungry and I don't say anything, whose fault is it that I'm hungry? It's me. Because I need to say, yo, I'm hungry. I need to eat. I need to nourish myself. It's all about honoring your thought. You can have the thought all day in your head, I wish, I wish, I wish, I wish. But, okay, what's your plan of attack? How are you going to honor the thought? How are you honoring your thoughts in your day? As you invest into the day, how are you honoring your thought? As you invest into the day, how are you honoring your thought? Remember, every time that you come to a point where you have something that resonates with you, it ends what you used to think, and it's taking you into the space of how to think, how to grow, how to cultivate, why I need to cultivate. Every time you come into a space that something resonates with you and it speaks to your soul, it's speaking to that inner aspects of you, it's setting you up for no longer what to think, you're shifting into that how to think. You're shifting into that why do I need to think this way? Why do I need to prepare myself? Why do I need to assess myself? Not, well, I'll assess myself when this gets in order. No. You always have time to assess yourself. And if you don't, that's an assessment in itself. You always got time to grow. If not, that's an assessment in itself. That's your sign for assessment. You always got time. You always have time. And if you don't, that means you need to do some assessing. You always are in the point where you're always in the right position. You're always in the right point. What are you doing with this point? What are you doing from right here? How are you investing into your day? How are you investing into your week? I want you to be the motherfucking best. I want you to be the best. I desire you to be the best. Going through these layers and layers and layers and layers. Going through those doors. The emotional traps or the obstacles that you leave in that door. That every time you go back and you say, okay, it's time for me to close the door on this chapter. I'm going to close the door on this chapter. But there's something blocking the door. What is it? Is it that memory that you avoided? Is it that memory that you keep avoiding? Is it the physical manifestation of the friendship that you use to avoid that memory? Is it the way that you carry on your relationships that's blocking that door from closing? Is it the rescue me complex? That means I'm going to rescue everybody and not rescue myself. I'm going to keep everybody in line, but I'm not keeping myself in alignment. Or if I save everybody else, then I can save me? Or is it that storehouse, that memory bank that you stuck in? You can't close the door. You keep trying to stuff things behind that door, and you can't. Now it's full and it keep overrunning into your life. Which one is it? Those are the doors. That's what we're getting into this week on the God Hour podcast, them doors. Those emotional traps, the rescue me complex, the rescue/save me complex, in that storehouse. I want you to be the best. I desire you to be the best. Invest into the day. Today is the day. If it resonates, when something resonates with you and it speaks to your soul, it's challenging you to stop the what and step into that how. Step out of the when and step into that why. That's the only way you're going to rise. I love you. We love us. Ashe. You'll never become efficient as long as you're getting stuck in these old thoughts. You're getting stuck in the old thoughts of yourself. You have that thought. You have this idea. You're like, oh, I want to do this. Oh, I want to do that.